Film is a disease, Frank Capra said. When it infects your bloodstream, it takes over as the number one hormone. It plays Iago to your psyche. As with heroin, the antidote to film is more film.
Welcome to My Celluloid Heart Podcast, Season 3, Episode 126. We're already up to that. This is a podcast where we normally take two movies over two episodes. But today, though, we are doing a Lethal Weapon Christmas, and there will be spoilers. I'm your host, Philip Duke, and I'm here with
his cousin, Chip. Hello, everyone.
It is so great to have you back. I'll tell you this. Here's some things that go through my head. So, oh, shit. I didn't add to these. Anyway.
Stuff already, people.
I know. Well, I just remembered I wrote some things down to start to write, and then I never finished, but I remember what it is. So at least I can find it. So first, let me read this, and then I have a added comment for Cliffhanger 2, and they are as follows. Hang on. Let me see if this is the one. Okay, bear with me. Chip will sing some theme music like on Lethal Weapon. Dun, 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 dun. I can't think of it. Whatever that song was. So Miracle of the Sun wrote, "The crane scared me," but I think he meant like when they're hanging on that rope, but he doesn't remember. He's trying to just go off of his memory. He said the crane. He's a guy that used to work with me. Now he lives up in Alaska. Miracle of the Sun 20. He said that crane scared me when I was little, when the lady died from the rope. Also, I didn't realize until a few years ago, Michael Rooker was in the movie. The guy who plays Merle Dixon on The Walking Dead, also Yondu on Guardians of the Galaxy. So I was like, yes. So I like that. I was like, yes. And then one of my over there at, what are they called? What are those guys called? Anyway, over there at Brothers in Armchairs podcast, he wrote something about Cliffhanger, and I can't find it, motherfucker. But he wrote like it's got a young so-and-so in it. Oh, maybe he wrote me on my thing. Anyway, wrote you on your thing? Yeah, wrote me on my thing. Okay, bear with me. Oh, yeah, I know where it is now. Okay, I found it, guys. Calm down. All right. He wrote, Brothers in Armchairs podcast wrote about Cliffhanger, an absolute classic, one of Stallone's best. We get to see a young Craig Fairbanks, too. So I don't know who Craig Fairbanks is. Do you? I'm going to look it up right now. So Craig Fairbanks. So I was like, no, I didn't know that. I liked it, but I'm like, who's Craig Fairbanks? But sorry, everybody. I just wanted to.
Nope, not right.
Oh, I don't know about this guy. This guy? No, Craig Fairbanks. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. I might be looking up his son or something because he's way too young and he's only been in 3 movies. But anyway, I'm thinking. No, he meant Fairbrass. It corrected him. Craig Fairbrass. He was the big guy that was kicking at Michael Rooker at the end. That was like, I play soccer, and he's kicking at him, and then he gets stabbed and gets cut and shot with a shotgun. Anyway, that's him. Here you go, Chip. He's this guy.
Gotcha.
So anyway, okay, everybody. Yeah, so young Craig Fairbanks. I'll have to look up where I know him from. But anyway, corrections from last week's show are...
You were wrong. Wrong. Finger guns. Wrong. In your weenie.
Okay, so Daylight was the movie I was thinking of from 1996, the Stallone one with him in the... So there was going to be, a dam movie that they were going to do it like Hoover Dam, and it was going to be Cliffhanger 2. But the one I was thinking was Daylight in 96. Disaster in the New York tunnels, explosions collapse both ends of it. One hero tries to help the people inside find their way to safety. And the movie,
Or in the tunnel.
that's right. The movie that I was thinking of by this one female director that had Jason Momoa in it and Jim Carrey was called The Bad Batch from 2016. It's like a post-apocalyptic weird thing. The plot: in a desert dystopia, a young woman is kidnapped by cannibals. So that was awesome. And the one that I couldn't. And no, she escapes. They cut her leg off, but then she like escapes.
Okay.
Joseph Cotton and Gene Peters were also in Niagara. I could think of Marilyn Monroe. I couldn't think of the other guys who were in it. So forgive me for that. But okay, now let me get to what I was going to talk to Chip about while that we're talking about. So I missed you on my last two shows, right? I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I'll do Cliffhanger. I'm like, Chip, you want to be on Cliffhanger? You're like, yeah, okay. And then you're like, nah, you know what? No, I can't. I'm like, okay. So I'm just doing Cliffhanger by myself. And I'm like, I wish Chip was here so I could bounce the stuff off him like a racquetball game, like back and forth, and we could talk about it. And I'm like, and so the other thing that we had talked about that I still have to work on, but I'm thinking
More like ping pong though, not really racquetball, because we were
yeah,
not
well that I
Mm-mm.
meant ping pong, but yeah, racquetball came out of my mouth. But where I told Chip, I said next year it'll work out better for me if I do the show on Thursday. And Chip said, well, I can't do it on Thursday because I'm busy with my shit. And I'm like, well, Tuesday night is bad for me because the wife is off and that's when we do stuff. So I'm like, well, what do we do? What do we do? So then I was like, well, maybe I'll do a lot of shows by myself with other people and maybe Chip will come on every once in a while. And then I go, no, like this works. Like you're and I thing, like we need to keep this up. So I'm going to figure out something, or like doing it late like this works. So we'll see.
Well,
But
and
anyway.
like my wife said, she's like, there's other days.
Well, yeah, but then it sucks for both of us maybe. But yeah, I mean, there's, Friday before I go to work. Hang on. Let's pause this while I let the dogs out. Who let the dogs out?
The dogs out. Sorry. Yeah, we're fun. Aren't we, people? You'll love us, right? I hope so. He's letting the dogs out. So it's Phil who let the dogs out. If anybody's ever wanted to know, it is Phil who let the dogs out.
There you go. When you hear the music, you can be like, Philip.
Yes.
However, who
Just
let the
scream
dogs
it,
out?
like
And
roll
then
down
go,
the window of your car and yell it out.
and go, Phil,
Phil did.
Phil. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, so yes, we could do it any other day of the week. I only work 3 days a week, but whatever
I get
works,
off at 6, so we can do.
we can figure it out.
Yeah.
That is true. So now on with the show. You ready for this, Chip? Getting into this Christmas. All right, here it is.
One cop is crazy.
Do you really want to jump? Do you want to?
The other is fed up.
Too old for this.
They're not just partners, they're buddies.
Gotta get up and catch bad guys.
Even tough guys need a little love.
What do you want to hear, man? You have to know. You want to die?
Mel Gibson and Danny Glover in the action movie that never loses its edge.
I haven't even started.
Prepare for Lethal Weapon. Saturday night at 9. The new classics are on TNT.
Lethal Weapon, 1987. The plot: two newly paired cops who are complete opposites must put aside their differences in order to catch a gang of drug smugglers. Stars Mel Gibson as Sergeant Martin Riggs. So Mel Gibson was invited by Richard Donner as he was interested in working with the actor after Lady Hawk, which is one we got to add to our repertoire. Casting. So this girl needs to give all the credit. Marion Dougherty, casting director, first suggested teaming Gibson and Danny Glover, giving Murtaugh had no set ethnicity in the script. She was like, how about like we do him? And Richard Donner said that he was like, but he's black. Like he goes, for some reason in my head, when he read the script, he's thinking two white guys. Then he goes, but he's black. And then he goes, he thought about it a little bit and he goes, well, wait a minute. Like that's our liberal guy who's like, yeah, no, it works. And because she was like, have you seen The Color Purple? You got to put this guy in your movie. And he was like, okay. And they did. Teaming Gibson with Danny Glover, Murtaugh had no set ethnicity. She arranged for Gibson to fly in from his home in Sydney, while Glover was flown in from Chicago, where he was appearing in a play to read through the script. According to a June 2007 Vanity Fair magazine article, Bruce Willis was considered for the Riggs role at one point. And then they talk about he was in Loaded Weapon, like being like, no, it's the other trailer.
What the fuck are you doing?
Also, this part's cool. Also, Gibson said, this particular story was a cut above others I had passed on because the action is really a sideline, which heightens the story of these two great characters. I picture Riggs as an almost Chaplin-esque figure, a guy who doesn't expect anything from life and even toys with the idea of taking his own. He's not like these stalwarts who come down from Mount Olympus and wreak havoc and go away. He's somebody who doesn't look like he's set to go off until he actually does, unquote. It's like, yeah.
Yep.
Danny Glover is Sergeant Roger Murtaugh. The draw for Glover. So yeah, Martin Riggs is a sergeant, if I missed putting that down. The draw for Glover was equally strong. Fresh from his success as Mr. in The Color Purple, he felt the role of Roger Murtaugh offered a whole new range of character expression and experience. Quote, aside from the chance to work with Mel, which turned out to be a pure pleasure, one of the reasons I jumped at this project was a family aspect. The chance to play intricate relationships and subtle humor that exist in every close family group was an intriguing challenge, as was playing a guy turning 50. Murtaugh's a little cranky about his age until everything he loves is threatened. His reawakening parallels Riggs. So that's true. Like, I didn't think about that until you, like, yes. Like when he's like, they took my daughter, he's like, we're going to do it my way. He's like, okay. He's like, you shoot to kill. He's like, I'm ready. Let's go. Gary Busey is Mr. Joshua. Now, Gary Busey, this is before Gary Busey was nuts. I think this is before his motorcycle wreck, but maybe not, but he wasn't quite so crazy. Gary Busey asked for a chance to read for the part, an established star since the Academy Award nominated performance in the Buddy Holly story, which I still need to see. Busey had not auditioned for a film in years. Yeah, you've seen it?
Yeah.
You know, it's a podcast, Chip. What would help if you go, what the fuck? You haven't seen it? That would help.
Well, I'm sorry. My jaw just kind of fell open. I was like, what the fuck?
I knocked over your coffee cup. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I do not have a big like beard or anything. I'm not gonna.
Right. Well, that's how far your jaw opened. That was in the podcasters listening, in the listening mind. They're just thinking that your jaw dropped completely. And you have like this Bruce Campbell jaw, and it just hit, and the coffee spilled. Busey had not a
Jay Leno jaw.
Well, maybe, but I'm not saying. But anyway, yeah. Busey had not auditioned for a film in years. Quote, I had butterflies, he said. I'd never played a bad guy, and no one had seen me since I'd lost 60 pounds and got back into shape. But I decided to take the initiative in order to have the opportunity to work with Dick, Joel, Mel, and Danny. I'm constantly looking for someone to pull the best performance out of me, and any of those guys could. They even talked me into dyeing my hair. Also, he says, I always build a backstory for my characters to get in the mood of it. He told this to Empire Magazine. For his role, he went to an unusual place, Mr. Joshua. He would walk through his grandmother's blood to get a postage stamp and never look at her. I had this look here, Busey said, and then took off his sunglasses. It gave me the eyes of a shark, which has no life. It's neat doing that. So, which is true. Like, you're like even when they're fighting at the end, not to jump ahead, but hey, it's Christmas. Here we are. It's the thing of like, he almost bests him. He almost beats Martin Riggs. How dare I say that, right? Mitchell Ryan as General Peter McAllister. I think he's Kevin McAllister's father from Home Alone, right? No, but who is Mitchell Ryan, Chip? You want to tell us who that is? What he's been in?
I don't know.
Wasn't he her father in Grosse Point Blank?
Oh shit! I did not think about that.
I thought for sure you would hit me with that, so I didn't even write it down.
No, it was. I kept hearing like his voice was hitting me, but I was seeing him as the general because it's fucking Lethal Weapon.
Right,
So I
right.
couldn't-
Yeah.
I
And you're
couldn't-
like,
I
this
couldn't-
must be where I know him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't take it out from the movie. I was just like, this is the general. He's the guy that lights him on.
Yeah.
What the? Yeah.
Yeah. Tom Atkinson as Michael Hunsacker. So Tom Atkinson, he's been in like a lot of these 80s kind of cheesy, just 80s movies. Everybody's like, I love Tom Atkinson. And recently about Halloween 3, that's the one where it's not a Michael Myers story. It's about these masks that the kids put on, and then they watch TV and it makes them like killers and kills other people, and it's crazy.
It's political. Got it.
But he's one that has to investigate. and
TV
find
will
out.
rot your brain and make you kill people.
That's right. He has to go figure out what it is. A side story on this before I get to Tracy Wolf. So I'm reading like facts. One of the facts that I found was Lethal Weapon 2. And even though we're not talking about that, I thought this was just weird when I read this. What I read was when Joe Pesci and Mickey Rourke were at Disneyland and they asked for directions to like Tomorrowland or whatever, these kids were like, okay, you go down here, okay, like almost like Howie Mandel, but also a little bit like Pauly Shore, like,
yeah.
And they go, and he goes, I thought it was the funniest thing, so I incorporated it into Leo Getz. Like, I thought it was great. And I'm like, what the fuck is Mickey Rourke and Joe Pesci doing at Disneyland? Like,
You're
why
like,
those
rewind.
two? Yeah.
What is happening here?
Yeah. Joe Pesci, okay. Mickey Rourke by himself, okay. But both of them together hanging out, like, what the fuck? But also, if you saw the movie that Clint Eastwood did about the Frankie Valli, Joe Pesci was friends with Frankie Valli. Before Joe Pesci became Joe Pesci, he's working at like a bowling alley, and they all knew each other. So they were going to a Frankie Valli concert in Disneyland or something. And so that it's like, well, that's cool. But anyway, Tracy Wolf as Rhiannon Murtaugh, not Rhiannon from what's that band called? Anyway, what's the band called? Now Brant's killing me about they play boom 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 boom. They play Landslide. Stevie Nicks is in it. Now you're drawing a blank.
Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac. Thank you. That's Rhiannon is her album. Rihanna is the singer. But anyway, Rhiannon Murtaugh. Steve Kahan as Captain Ed Murphy. He's the guy that we know. Superman was his first big thing. He's dead now. I looked him up. Al Long as Endo. Right? Blackie Dammit, which I talked to you about before. Blackie Dammit, aka John Kiedis, drug dealer number 3. Who would that be? Anthony Kiedis's father, who died last year. Yeah, way cool. The guy with the red and black shirt that holds Martin at gunpoint. He's the one that's Anthony Kiedis's father. And Donald Gooden as Alfred. Because every time I think of like, Alfred, don't tell me name, Alfred. Alfred. Oh, your name's Alfred. How old are you, Alfred? 6. Yeah. It's like, let's go get these kids ice cream. And Martin's like, can you guys shut up for a second? We're trying to talk on the radio. So did you notice that 3 people are in this movie from Die Hard? So Al Long, the guy that shocks him. The black guy that is like, oh yeah, you shaved your beard. Yeah, he's the one that cuts his hand on the rose bush.
Yeah.
He's the one that cuts his hand on the rose bush when he's going through on Die Hard. No,
he's the guy in the helicopter says, I was in junior high, dickhead.
Right. I made this mistake before, Chip. Rewind to one of our other shows where I bring up Die Hard. Chip got it. Yes, there is a black guy though that cuts his hand on the thing. But yes, you're right. Forgive me for getting Die Hard wrong. Written by Shane Black, and then they brought in Jeffrey Boehm is like uncredited. Now here's what I found out that is weird. They said Shane Black had it like real serious and dark, and then Jeffrey Boehm brought in the comedy. So I'm like, oh, I would have thought Shane Black brought the comedy, but I can get what they're saying. So quote, what I was looking to do, this is from Black. what I was looking to do at that time was write an urban Western. For Riggs, Black used one of his favorite films, Dirty Harry, as a template. Quote, that's what I was thinking about for that character, sort of the Frankenstein who everybody reviles for what he did, for what he's capable of, for the things he still believes in. Because we think that we're all placid and tame, but in fact, violence intrudes in a horrible way. And then they have to knock on Frankenstein's cage and say, well, we kind of need what you do, even though we hate and revile you. Please come out and kill these people for us. And it's the old gunslinger. So I thought that was awesome. I was like, oh, wow, that's well said.
Well, it's cool though, because talking about Dirty Harry, because that's the first thing I thought of when the scene when he goes up to deal with the jumper, because Dirty Harry did the same thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. How do you get that guy down? Yeah, he got him on the
beat
lift.
The shit out of him and pulled him onto the lift.
Pulled him onto the lift. Yeah,
which that actually you could tell that when he did
you
that,
and I were like, yeah, it was dangerous. Nobody was lassoed in. Yeah. Directed by some guy that Chip might know. His name's Richard Donner. He started out, he did a Steve McQueen thing called Wanted Dead or Alive. He used to do TV before this. About the initial reading with Mel, this part's cool. About the initial reading with Mel and Danny, Donner said, it took about 2 hours, and by the time we were done, I was in seventh heaven. They found innuendos, they found laughter where I never saw it, they found tears where they didn't exist before, and most importantly, they found a relationship, all in just one reading. So if you ask about casting, it was magical, just total dynamite. So also, he says, I tried to make it more like an old-fashioned Western, Donner told the New York Times. Sure, there were a lot of deaths, but they died like they died in Westerns. They were shot with bullets. They weren't dismembered. I like action and a strong storyline. I like to turn my head away in suspense, not in disgust. I think the audiences feel like I do, and that's why people like the film and come back to see it a second time. This contrasted with Frank's descriptions, which I don't know who this Frank guy is, of the deaths in the script, where the head disintegrates in a bloody spray. Donner claimed John Wayne fans would recognize some of the punches thrown by Mel Gibson and Gary Busey from the John Wayne film Red River from 1948. So they have like that kind of mano a mano fight. So Lethal Weapon takes place at Christmas, as do several other black-pinned films, including The Long Kiss Goodnight, Last Boy Scout, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Christmas is fun, Black told Den of Geeks. It's unifying, and all your characters are involved in this event that stays within the larger story. It grounds everything. At Christmas, lonely people are lonelier, seeing friends and families go by. People take stock of where their lives are at Christmas. It just provides a backdrop against which different things can play out, but with one unifying global heading. I've always liked it, especially in thrillers. For some reason, it's a touch of magic. It's also Iron Man 3, which we didn't say.
I suddenly just want just to feel what it would be different is I want Shane Black to write a script that's happening during Halloween.
Oh, well, it's called Monster Squad. Him and Fred Decker already did it, but and it'd be funny, and the Wolfman's got nards. So how did this movie come into your life? I mean, you were what, 74, and then 87, so you were 13.
Yeah, I think I probably went to go see it in the theaters.
Yeah,
I think, but
I'm thinking, but I think that I might have just saw it somehow on TV or rented it and then been like, holy shit, but
I honestly don't. I think it was what came out at the same time as Lethal Weapon 2, like the same day.
Lethal Weapon 2 was like Die Hard 2, like those kind of things came around there.
I think we went and saw both movies on that day. We saw Lethal Weapon 2 and something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't remember, but I remember that more, vividly than even the first one.
Well, and that's the thing where I remember, we'll get to it in listener opinions coming up, but one of the things was I remember being like, oh my God, this girl's topless. Like there's a naked girl and I'm young and I'm like, am I supposed to be watching this? Like she's topless. And then like, all dressed up and no one to blow. And it's like, okay. And then like, just wait a minute, like, holy shit. But anyway, yeah. So I think I might have went to the theater and saw it when I was 16. I might have went with Joe Weedman. We saw it, but I'm not sure. But I put that question in there anyway, just so we know. And something that I'm going to add to our thing is like, what makes this movie stick out? Not just in a whole. Is there one specific scene that makes you go, I always remember that scene? Like what I talk about, like my thing, like the whole point of the show. The what?
Well, for me, the first thing that pops into my head when I think like when the movie is starting, beyond the girl, because that's going to happen in the beginning, is their
suicide.
Their first connection of their first connection of him going gun and running to go stop him. And him flipping him through the air. That's like the first connection between them.
I wonder why we're cousins. I know it's by blood, but I fucking love that scene. Every time, that's like where they bond, even though he's like, have you ever met anybody you didn't kill? I haven't killed you yet. But that's where then he goes home with him, and then they really bond at the, on the boat. But yeah, I love that scene where he's like, okay, I'll just stand back. And then he's like, gun. And he looks at him, he's holding him, and he like looks at him like, I don't want to do anything, but and then he's like, oh shit. Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah, that would be mine too. And then of course the suicide, like him putting the gun in his mouth, and you're like, oh my God, this is dark, and like just all of that. Now let's get to some listener opinions.
Well, you gotta have an opinion.
Well, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one.
I hated this movie.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
I like it!
Opinions vary.
Brothers in Armchairs podcast wrote, quote, the apex of the buddy, God, can't fucking read. Okay. The Brothers in Armchairs podcast wrote, the apex, why do I keep, it's the word I'm saying, but I'm saying apex, but it's apex. Yes. The apex of the buddy cop genre that all to follow try to equal, regardless of if it's a comedy, an action, or a drama. Riggs and Murtaugh had everything going for them that has lasted over 30 years. I'm not looking forward to the next installment of the franchise either. Some things should end as great as it started, unquote. So our buddy Timothy 17_17, aka Lighting Up the Marquee podcast over there, wrote, quote, I prefer Lethal Weapon 5 through 7, unquote, which I said, I'm going to have to explain to Chip because you don't watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But in there, they were like, let's make Lethal Weapon 5. And they did. And one of them was Murtaugh with blackface. And then they were like, oh, no, I'm going to be the blackface one. So then then they did 6. And the other one was Murtaugh. And it was hilarious. It was like, a shitty little video. And then on the newest one, they were like, let's make Lethal Weapon 7. And it was even worse. So anyway, Popcorn Promises podcast wrote, Jason Bromley over there, quote, Lethal Weapon holds a special place in my heart. It was not only one of the best 80s action movies, but it was the first time I saw a hard R action movie. It felt dangerous, like something I wasn't supposed to watch. Mel Gibson and Danny Glover were so perfect for these roles. This was back when cops could just straight up shoot people, because in the 80s, there were good guys, and bad guys needed to be killed by good guys. Oh, yeah. And it showed boobies in the opening credits. So best movie ever. And now a question for my dear friends at My Cellular Heart. Are you ready for this? I was able to read this beforehand, so I know the answer for me. And I asked my wife, but here we go. Who would win in a fight? Martin Riggs, John McClane, or Axel Foley?
Axel Foley, because he put a banana in their tailpipe.
Wow, you went comical. I went serious. Mine was Martin Riggs, because like my wife said, he's crazy. He's special forces, ex-special forces, like he knows all this shit, and he'll just go off on you, But Axel Foley, though, he could do that thing. Phil, is that you, Phil? I knew it was you. I told him, I said, that's Phil. And the guy goes, shut up, man. We're trying to rob the place. Like, get away. And then he fucking flips the guy because he's not drunk. He's a fucking cop. Flips him over, puts a shotgun to his face, and gives the okay, my favorite scene in Beverly Hills Cop. And then John McClane is just like a cop. He was a regular guy who became a cop who, went through some shit, but, then toward the fifth film or however many we were on, then he's like taking down a big giant like rocket launching thing with his son, like is crazy. But anyway, I'd say Martin Riggs. Chip would say Axel Foley with bananas in your tailpipe. Even though you're attacking him hand to hand, Axel Foley's gonna be like, where's your car? He's gonna run. Oh, that gross. He has to pull your pants down. I thought like you're ready to fight him and he just runs off to your car to put bananas in your tailpipe. Brant Dodson wrote, Lethal Weapon is one of the greatest action movies ever made. Still holds up all these years. Action-packed without being over the top. Dramatic without being too heavy. And humorous without being cheesy. It strikes a perfect balance of all three. Makers of modern action films need to give this film a look and see what they've been doing wrong. 5 hearts. Also, Lethal Weapon counts as a Christmas movie. That's why it's on the show. I agree. So, speaking of bananas and tailpipes and some people fight, stunt coordinator Bobby Bass planned and supervised all phases of Gibson and Glover's intense pre-production training, physical conditioning, weight workouts, and weapons handling and safety. Bass also used his own military experience to bring a greater depth of understanding to the Riggs character. To familiarize the actors with specialized skill and sensibilities acquired by undercover cops, arrangements were made for Gibson and Glover to spend time in the field accompanying working LAPD officers. Throughout filming, technical advisors from the LAPD as well as LA County Sheriff's Department worked closely with Donner and the actors to ensure authenticity. Cedric Adams was the first technical advisor brought in. Adams thought the best possible way to show just how lethal Riggs really is to show his mastery of a form of martial arts never before seen on screen, said Donner. So this part's cool. Donner wanted Riggs' style of fighting to be unique with the second assistant director, Willie Simmons, who was interested in unusual forms of martial arts. Choosing 3 martial arts styles, Gibson and Busey were instructed in capoeira by Adams. That's like a Brazilian African type. They dance and they fight. A thing called Jailhouse Rock by Dennis Newsom. So that I didn't look that up, but that's like, I know Jailhouse Rock. This guy not going to kick my, whoa, hey, wait, my ass just got kicked. What happened? Yeah, you've been Elvised. Holy shit. But anyway, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu by Rory and Gracie. So, the Gracies from the MMA stuff. Bobby Bass, the stunt coordinator, a former U.S. Army Special Forces instructor and judo champion, also provided training in various techniques. At one point, the actors trained in between filming for 4 hours a day for 6 weeks and did months of choreography. So there are some stuff where at first you're just thinking it's kind of a fight, but they're doing a lot of judo stuff of like throwing them over the hip and doing all that, but also like their hands, like you can see how, Mel Gibson's hands are a certain way, like to do this fighting. So pretty cool.
It's cool because when you watch the way that his hands were, how he was moving his hands, it was very much kind of the same
defensive or
as if he had a knife.
Yeah.
How they hold it when they have a knife in their hand. He was very much blocking and kind of doing the same thing as if he was, if he had a knife and he would have stabbed you while he was doing it.
Yeah, for sure. You ready to discuss this thing?
Oh yeah.
Fly through this thing like butter. We'll cut through it like butter. Anyway, following the recent death of his wife, Los Angeles Police Department Narcotics Sergeant Martin Riggs, a former Special Forces soldier, has become suicidal and erratic. Despite the protest of the police psychiatrist, the captain believes Riggs is faking his psychosis to be forcibly retired with a generous pension and partners him with veteran homicide sergeant Roger Murtaugh. I'm going to go through the end of this. Hang on. So Riggs and Murtaugh did not get along, as Murtaugh is equally dismissive of Riggs' mental state, but is eventually convinced Riggs is truly suicidal. So I didn't read through this when we did it, but obviously it didn't start with it hasn't went to the drug thing yet, but I think it's getting there because now they're in the kitchen. Murtaugh's contacted by a former Vietnam War friend, Michael Hunsacker, ostensibly to help his daughter Amanda escape her life of prostitution and pornography. But Amanda kills herself by jumping from an apartment balcony before she and Murtaugh meet. Her autopsy shows she was poisoned, indicating she was potentially murdered. Riggs and Murtaugh attempt to question her pimp, but are assaulted after finding drugs on the premises. Wow, that jumped way ahead. So, I love the part always when, Riggs wakes up, his naked ass. I love that. Putting bananas in his tailpipe. And and I remember like when I was younger, I'd be like living by myself and I'm like, I'm going to walk around naked, drink a beer while I take a piss. Like I'm going to be like Martin Riggs. I'm awesome,
Now what I'm thinking when I'm watching that is I could not walk naked like that and not worry about my dog trying to grab my pee-pee. Okay, dangle thing. I'm going to go attack that.
That is true. I have little dogs, but I do have a big Great Dane that would just walk upright. He's, at my stomach level. Yeah. He'd just be like sausage, sausages. So, it's the thing of, it's that opening of like, wow, this guy. And then then he's buying drugs. And I think when you first see this, so you're like, you're maybe either knowing he's a cop from the trailers, but you're not knowing, is he buying drugs for himself or undercover, because he's messed up. But when he's like, how much for the whole thing? And he's like, 100. He's like, really? You want the whole thing? Yeah, maybe you put a nice treat, a 6-footer. He's like, sure, I'll give you whatever you want, dude. And he's like, okay, 96, 97, 90. He's like, what are you doing? Hang on, I'm losing count. 99, 100. He's like, no, 100,000. And you're like, holy shit. And then he's like, oh man, I can't afford that. No, I can't. And then he's like, you're under arrest. And they're like, that badge ain't real. You ain't real. And he's like, that's a real badge. I'm a real cop. And this is a real fucking gun. And then Red Hot Chili Peppers come out of no, that guy gets killed. Yeah, that guy gets killed. And then Red Hot Chili Peppers grabs him and is gonna, what are you doing?
That is my physically favorite gun thing I've seen in quite a while as far as movies go, besides like slow motion and some like John
Wick or yeah.
But him dropping and just rolling as he shoots.
Yeah.
Because he rolls underneath the actual truck bed thing that goes up and down. He rolls underneath and it's like a shield for him from them being up high, and he's just shooting. And I was just like, that's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. It's awesome. Well, and that's one of those where some of these movies where they have a good person to be like, well, here's where you would be because they're shooting at you, and not just like, well, shoot this guy, shoot that guy. We've seen that in the 80s and 90s. Sometimes it's just shoot that guy over there and then that guy over there. And it's like, well, come on, like,
and obviously has nowhere else to go because it's all trees.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing to hide behind so he basically had to roll underneath where the platform is. So,
well, and then too, it's cool because it's a thing, the cops are there now because they, he's wearing a wire or whatever. Cops show up and he's like, he's here, he's in here, like lock it up, and he's looking for the guy. And then he pops up with the gun to his head. And then that's a thing of that you never saw in a movie that I remember. That was a big thing of like, just shoot him. And you're like, holy shit, like he doesn't care. Like, now in movies, it was, like we said, 48 hours, he shot him through his shoulder to hit the guy. But like stuff like that, but you never saw that before. And it was like, oh my God. And then for him, just that look on his face when he pulls a guy's gun and just cocks it and has it under his chin, and he's just breathing heavy and got the crazy eyes, and you're like, oh shit. And then what's cool, the way this movie does it, sometimes it's a little bit bad of too much exposition. So she tells him, hey, by the way, he's like, oh, you dropped an egg, oh, eggs on the floor. Why didn't I think of looking at the floor for eggs? Like, yeah, no shit. And then he's like, and then she's like, oh, some guy named Michael Hunsacker called. And he's like, Michael Hunsacker. Oh, wow. I haven't heard that name for like 12 years. And then later when they're like, her name was Amanda Hunsacker. And then he's like, well, wait a minute. He's like, and then he's on the phone going, honey, remember the number you told me about the guy that called today? Like reminding you that Hunsacker, that's where you heard it. but it's not in a bad way. Like, I'm just saying some of those things you could go, oh, come on. But then, and then when Michael Hunsacker's just like, no, she's in some bad shit. And it's like, oh, now because they killed her, you don't want to be killed. So her autopsy shows she was poisoned, indicating she was potentially murdered. Riggs and Murtaugh attempt to question her pimp. So now they've already bonded. Now they bond. They go to the pimp's house and they go, oh, we don't need probable cause because they opened the door and invited us in.
Yep.
And but are assaulted after finding drugs on the premises, forcing Riggs to kill the pimp to save Murtaugh's life. So that's the thing too, where it was just, it's like that scene in Unbreakable where you're like, oh shit, you're in plastic in water, like, oh fuck, you're gonna drown and that shit's gonna cover you up. And then he can't break out of the plastic and he ends up dying. But it's that cool thing of like, of them like, oh, look at these girls. And they're like, hi. And he pulls the jacket open and he's got the gun and the badge and they're like, oh shit. And their final lead is Dixie. So the prostitute that, you've all seen the movie, so we can run through this anyway. But that's the thing when he's like all dressed up and no one to blow. And the scene that I love is when they are shooting, when they're talking about, they're brainstorming it back and forth, like workshopping it. And he's like, and then she runs out and she sees an officer and she says, oh shit, I saw the whole thing. And he goes, yeah, she actually stops and says shit. Yeah. and then he keeps shooting. And then he's like, I don't know, that's very thin. He goes, he said something and he goes, knowing your wife's cooking, I wouldn't be surprised. And he's like, what? Nothing. And then so then they
remember though when that happened and they were doing that back and forth for the their basically what they think is going on. I was like, don't they do that in every one of the movies at some point where they kind of go back and forth?
I think so, yeah. But I think because I think for one, because it works. For two, though, I think because that's what cops probably do is like, how do you think this guy? Well, he could have done this. He could have done it. You don't want to lead one way or the other. So as a cop, you're like, this makes no sense. And then, like you said, they're saying maybe she pushed her. And then you're like, no, because we saw it. She did some coke and jumped. So either she was being pressured so much, or like they said, if that was poison, then, then it was, tainted with some shit. But they're finally, so they're like, let's go talk to Dixie because she was not in her area. She was somewhere else. Like she shouldn't have even been there. A prostitute who witnessed Amanda's death and whom the pair believe may have poisoned her. Dixie's home explodes. That part is so fucking cool. When you talk about a scene that's embedded in your mind, the way Donner did that, the plane's flying. So you're focused on that plane. You're like, oh, look at this plane. They're showing up to this house. And then all of a sudden, kaboom. And you're like, holy shit, like kind of takes your eye off of it. So you're kind of scared a little bit.
Well, it throws me into it because of how close they actually were to that when it blew up.
Yeah.
Because and after, I don't know if you've seen the actual after footage stuff of what was it called? Blown Away with Tommy Lee Jones.
Right.
And did you see the scene where the explosion happened and actual shrapnel from one of the tires or whatever went past what's his name's head, the other star?
Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges. It was this close to his fucking head, it would have killed him.
Wow.
If it would have hit him in the head, it would have killed him instantly.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah.
Because they slowed it down and they showed the piece go right past him.
Yeah.
And so I was just sitting there going, and look at how close they were to this building when it exploded.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes with those, they'll do the long lens, so it looks like they're closer than they are. But yeah, still, it's like people have said, like, that thing gets hot. And you're like, whoa, like, let's back up. But even like there was an old movie I was watching and they had a couple walking through a burning house. And that producer director was like, no, we're really going to burn shit all around and you're going to walk through it. And it's very dangerous, very hot. And they got to keep doing that instead of just a flame bar in front of the camera that's not hot. And you can be like, so, but yeah. So her body's recovered. That's where we meet Alfred. and Alfred said he was painted and all this stuff. And then he's like, he had a tattoo, like an ET tattoo. He had a tattoo, and then he's like, that's special for you. This is mercury switch. Riggs locates components of a mercury switch explosive among the debris. A specialty explosive Riggs recalls being used by Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, mercenaries in Vietnam. The suspect is detailed by neighborhood children who noticed he had a similar elite special forces tattoo. What are the odds? Like Riggs. He had a banana. I think it was Axel Foley. Murtaugh suspects Hunsacker is withholding information.
That's what it was. It was a mercury switch with a banana.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was right in it. You peel it and then you flip it. So Riggs and Murtaugh visit Hunsacker during Amanda's funeral, where he reveals he worked for Shadow Company, a defunct CIA paramilitary unit which secretly ran the Vietnam War out of Laos and took over the substantial heroin trade in the area from the natives. After the war, the ex-CIA agents, I know what you're going to say, wait right there, CIA agents, mercenaries, and soldiers involved reformed Shadow Company and began shipping large quantities of heroin from Asia to the United States under the leadership of retired General Peter McAllister and his right-hand man, Mr. Joshua. Okay, go ahead.
One of the, like, I went ahead and I looked because of the fact that Mel Gibson was in this movie and in Air America, because it was mentioned. And so I went to go look and see if there like anybody coincided as far as writers or anything like that, and it didn't look like anybody was. And I was like, huh. That
and it was fun. I remember I don't know if it was the Air America book, because that's like a made up story, but there was an Air America. I don't know if you remember, but I was reading a book of the real Air America, which became American Airlines. You know, now I don't think they're CIA affiliated anymore, but it became American Airlines. And it was a whole thing of like, you know, undercover. There was a guy that, just like in the movie, a guy that would carry his toe got shot off, and he'd carry it. He'd carry the ashes of it in a little vial on his neck, like just like the guy did in the movie. But it was really cool. But yeah, I was thinking that there was another thing where they said Eric Clapton and Michael Kamen did the music for this. And they also did the music before this of a BBC movie called Edge of Darkness, which Mel Gibson later did an American version of Edge of Darkness, like right after all of his problems and like Beaver came out, and then he did that movie. It was okay, but I thought it was going to be more like Taken, but it wasn't like Taken. But anyway, Hunsacker's role as a banker allowed him to make the illicit funds seem legitimate. He initially called Murtaugh to confess. So that's when he called him. Like, she's like, he called like 2 days ago. It's like, come on, you're my wife. Tell me like today, like tell me, don't tell me 2-day-old messages. He initially called Murtaugh to confess and turn witness against Shadow Company, and McAllister had Amanda killed in retaliation. So this is where, the wife and I are watching this movie. I watched it today, but we were watching it about a couple weeks ago, maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And she's watching it and she goes, and I don't think she remembers we watched it again like before that. And, you know, like months before, and she didn't remember, but she goes, is this the one where they're on the toilet? And I said, no, that's part 2. Is this the one where I go, no, the one with the dogs? Like, that's the third one. The one with the dog where he shares biscuits. And I go, and the fourth one is with Chris Rock, where Jet Li's there and he takes apart the Beretta. And he goes, and she's like, I don't think I've seen this. And I'm thinking, you own all 4 movies on DVD when I met you, and you've never seen the best movie of them all. And she was like, no. And so she's watching it and she's like, oh, like, you know, but she's like, I go, Leo Getz isn't in this, like he's in the other one. And, but we're watching it and it gets to this scene. And McAllister goes over to a table in a room that's room temperature, grabs one of the jugs of eggnog to open it, to drink out of it. And she's like, he's drinking like lukewarm, like eggnog, like gross, like it's not cold. I go, yeah, I know. I go, I don't know if it's product placement or what, but there's like 17 things of eggnog inside the house, like not out where everybody is outside, but right here inside his office. So it was funny. Yeah, my wife's like, gross.
he was going to come to that whole conclusion though of like, wait, they went after his daughter.
Mhm.
Don't you think they have an MO where they go after his daughter next?
Oh,
They go
yeah,
after the
well,
daughters.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they don't go after they're just gonna. That's something I'll tell you while you're here. This is why I would have loved to have you on the cliffhanger episode. Cliffhanger, end of the movie. John Lithgow has the girl on the helicopter. He's like, "Give me the money." They got one thing of money. Stallone goes, "Land the helicopter over there. I'm not going to give it to you till you drop her off. Drop her off first," which is understandable, but meet me halfway. So he goes over, he repels the line, drops her down. So the girl drops down. Now you got no bargaining chip. Like, how the fun? Now you expect this money to be given to you, like, with no problem. And Stallone throws it into the blades, and the movie goes flying. The money goes flying, and John Lithgow crashes, and there's a fight in a studio on the top of a helicopter. It's retarded. But anyway, yeah. So that was one where it was like, but then there's one on James Bond, on the recent James Bond movie, not to give anything away, but he's got this girl, and then all of a sudden he's just like, she doesn't want to go with him, and so he's just like, fuck it then, bye, and he goes his way. And it's like, that's like realistic. Like, you're like, well, if you're gonna fight me, like, forget it, I'm not gonna deal with you the whole trip to wherever I'm going. Joshua arrives in a helicopter and shoots Hunsacker and his eggnog to death.
Well, that eggnog good.
Yeah. Joshua later attempts to kill Riggs in a drive-by shooting, but the latter is saved by his bulletproof vest. Riggs' death is faked by him and Murtaugh to give them an advantage. So that was cool too, where I remember at first when I saw it, I'm like, oh, they set that up. But no, they were actually doing work of asking this girl. Murtaugh's like looking at doing window shopping. Oh, what should I get for Christmas? And then, oh shit, my buddy just got shot. Like, big giant car just come driving by. And he's like, it's that same jackrabbit albino son of a bitch that was on the helicopter. Yeah. You're like, awesome. And we'll do shaving head commercials and shit girl money. Yeah. Like, okay. So now that's when, Riggs is like, we fake my death, they don't know that I'm alive. And then they both wink, like, and then he winks back, and they're like, cool. And I'm thinking like, oh shit, you're letting everybody know that Riggs is dead at the police station, but also like, but it didn't really go over the line, but also everybody doesn't like him. Like, he's like, in which case I'm fucked and no one wants to work with me. Or in which case I want to draw a psycho pension and I'm fucked and no one wants to work with me. Either way, I'm fucked. And he's like, yeah, God hates me. And he's like, hate him back. It works for me. And blows smoke out his nose. That's the only reason why I wanted to smoke, so I could dramatize something that I want to say by blowing out smoke out of my nose.
Perfect timing. That was like filming like gold that probably Donna was like, fuck yeah, that was awesome cut.
Yeah, exactly. Concerned Murtaugh knows too much, Shadow Company kidnaps his daughter, Rianne, and forces Murtaugh to meet them at El Mirage Lake. Riggs provides sniper support to help Murtaugh and Rianne escape, but all three, okay. So what's cool about this, in a normal, regular movie, this is where people either mess up or do it wrong and it doesn't work because you haven't built your character up as a Riggs. Now it's a guy who you're like, he's no, whatever. Or even John Wick. My dad watched John Wick. He's like, really? He goes, it was fun, but really this guy's going to know every move these guys are going to make. Like, he's not going to be hurt or not going to be. And I'm like, no, but it was fun. Just like when I showed my dad, I was watching The Killer with Chow Yun-Fat. And my dad's like, does he run out of bullets? I go, shut up. Like, this is just watch a movie. But it's the thing of, now they're showing up. This is a big scene. You're like, they're going to get the daughter. They're going to kill the bad guys. We're pretty far into this. I'm not watching the time, but as your first watch, you're going, sweet. They have a plan. He dropped him off. He's going to sniper them. He's going to shoot him. He's like, move out of the way. You're building up this tension. All of a sudden, there's General McAllister, Kevin's dad, right behind him. What?
That's my only problem.
Okay. Is why is his dad walking in the big circle all the way?
Because he drops him off and he has to fucking run his ass off to get to the certain spot that he needs to be. Mm-hmm. You're not going to see, like, the helicopter didn't drop him off.
Right.
So how far out was this fucker? And he's the oldest of the crew. That is the only part in this whole movie that kind of irks me a little bit, because you don't see this old man doing the Martin Riggs run like he does down the fucking road later on in the movie, where you're like, fuck, he's fast. He's like super fast. So yeah, no.
You're saying I can't think of the general's name now from Desert Storm, but you're saying that general, as big as he was, can't run like that? No, this general has trained all these special forces guys. He knows his shit. But no, a little bit is for.
Well, and think about this: for him to catch up, he's gonna be panting like a motherfucker.
Right.
So if he's gonna be pointing, he's gonna hear
right
behind him.
Yeah. I went up some stairs the other day to deal with a noise complaint at my work, and I went upstairs, talked to the lady. I come down, I'm a little winded, and then she's like, "Can you come back up here? I want to talk to you." So I had to go back up the stairs. I'm winded from that.
Did you say you were too old for this shit?
No, I didn't. I should have, but she was black. She might have taken it wrong. Like, are you trying to be Danny Glover? Because you're white. Is that blackface? Is that appropriation? What are you doing?
Then you got pushed down the stairs.
That's right. And then I'm like, help. And elder abuse. So then no, she was 52, because she's like, look, I just turned 50. I'm 50 years old. I go, hey, I'm 52. She goes, hey, high five. I go, yeah, welcome to the club. Anyway, but then I wrote her up for being too loud. But anyway, my thing is this. Now you're making dust trails with your little feet running through the desert. So
he was zigzagging.
So, well, I'm going to see that, and I'm going to go, look, there's those dust trails. Let's go get him. And I'm going to walk over there. But yes, there's part of that. But not as much. You still forgive it, but a little bit, you're like, if you really thought about it, you're like, he could be over here behind them. He could have been over here, but he just happens to be right there in front of where the car is pulling. But it's that thing where you think they're going to save, everybody's going to be saved, and at least maybe the daughter will get away. Helicopter chases her, fucking dangerous. Like, after Twilight Zone, I'm not driving a helicopter anywhere near any people, any cars. Like, no, fuck that. And so so then
they picked that area because it was flat as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. And then she crashes. They capture Danny Glover. Danny Glover throws that thing, and then they're like, it's a smoker, get him. And they're bringing Riggs back, and Riggs is like, oh, you're General McAllister. I know you. You're Kevin's dad. And he's like, yeah, you left your son home alone. And he's like, oh, we got it. By the way, nobody watched the new Home Alone movie. Horrible. Like, I gave it 1 star. Like, it was slightly funny in certain moments, but it was just like, oh, nowhere near the heart of the other two.
They would have got that kid from TikTok that I just sent you.
It
would have worked.
He could have sniped Gary Busey. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yes,
he could have.
Yeah. I don't know where the kid would be. You're saying this TikTok kid, like, is he gonna save somebody? Is he gonna lip sync to Gary Busey going, it's a smoker?
Home Alone.
Oh, okay. Well, they had a little British kid, so he was cute. But anyway, yeah, he dropped Legos, and then they stepped on the Legos, and they're like, oh shit, that hurt, because Legos hurt. Yeah, he broke his Death Star so that they had to step on it. Anyway, so I just spit all over the thing. So Riggs provides sniper support to help Murtaugh and Rianne escape, but all 3 are captured and recovered to a nightclub basement, a shadow company front. Riggs and Murtaugh, Riggs is killing everybody in that fucking place. I'm like, woo, woo, I'm dancing. Oh shit, no, this wasn't a gun. It's a little shiny, flashy thing.
The guy behind it is like doing a shaker. He's like mixing a drink.
Yeah, mixing a drink for that guy that had the gun. He's like, oh, you want a drink? I'll make it. Oh shit. Okay, that guy's dead. Who do I give the drink to now? Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. You just killed my customer. You could have taken his gun, shot him in the leg. Yeah, shot him in the leg. I didn't shoot him. I didn't kill him. I shot him in the leg. Riggs and Murtaugh are tortured for information until Riggs escapes, kills several shadow company members, and frees Murtaugh and Rianne. So that part's cool too, where he's being shocked. He's like, what is it? You see the battery, you see him shocked, and he's being pushed. And Gary Busey's like, ow, like he's getting shocked because he's touching him at the same time to push him away. And they're asking him, what do you know? And they don't know about the shipment. That's what else is cool, is just like I kind of said, not to say Cliffhangers is good to Lethal Weapon. In Cliffhanger, they said, what'd you do with the money, the first case of money that he had? They burned it that first night because they had to keep warm. So he burned the whole thing of money. And he's like, I burned it. And they're like, no, where's the money? And normally someone would be like, okay, here's where the money is. No, he's like, I burned it. Like he says it like 3 times or something. And it's like, that was cool because it wasn't like I really hid it over here. My wife's like, he hid it. I go, no, he burned it. They had to stay warm. He don't care. Then they won't. So it's cool that they didn't know where's the shipment coming. He's like, I don't know. And even, and that's where you hear Roger going, go spit. Because that's what we said in either Nice Guys or Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. They said the same thing, go spit. Like, but go ahead.
So I remember watching this and thinking, when they were like electrocuting him and everything, it makes me think of when I was small, and like, they teach you when you're young not to put a fork in the socket and stuff, and electrocute yourself or whatever. And I remember my dad sitting me down going, if you ever see anybody getting electrocuted, don't go and grab them to help them. And he basically shows me, he's like, get into a tackling stance and tackle them. And I was like, oh, he goes, you have to break it. He's like telling me to do this as a young kid. He's like, you go full force. I don't care if you have to run across the fucking room. You hit them as hard as you can to get them to where they're not being electrocuted anymore. I was like, okay, Dad.
Yeah. That's where like people hit people with 2x4s to not have a connection through the wood, and they'll knock them away from something. I don't know if I told you this funny story. So we're new to moving into this house. And, we've been here a year now, a little over a year and a half. And my wife said, I want these new things put in the hallway. I want these, instead of double plugins, one plug-in and a nightlight underneath. She's like, can you do that? I said, sure. Do a YouTube search. Oh, that's how to do it. Get the thing. She goes, be careful though. Maybe don't do it by yourself. I said, nah. And she goes to work. I go, I'm going to surprise her. So I cut the power where I'm watching through the back window, and I'm like, okay, the hallway light went out. So now there's 2 bedrooms on one side and a master bedroom, and another bedroom and a bathroom on the other side of the hallway. When I cut the power off, it goes to the hallway. So I'm like, cool. So I go to do one of the plugs, take it off, put the other one on. I'm like, cool. Move to the other one, not touching. The power's still out in the hallway. Go to the other one. I go to take it apart. I touch the wires. Whoa. Got a little shock. I'm like, ooh. I'm like, wait a minute. And then I realize, oh, the walls, it doesn't matter the hallway light. It's the wall you're sharing with a room. So the room that I worked on first, that power was off in the hallway and out in that room. But when I went to the other side, that room was on. So that wall was live. So I'm like, oh, wait. So that's when I learned, okay, turn that. And my wife's like, that's why I didn't want to come home and have you dead on the floor, sizzling. I'm like, yeah.
You could have told her no, but the neighbors would have heard you sounding like R2D2 being shot across the room.
Or all the power going down, like Han being electrocuted. Yeah. Yeah, that too. Yeah. If I had thrown it, maybe I would have just stayed there and just been like, wah. But anyway, so deducing Joshua will seek revenge at Murtaugh's home. Riggs and Murtaugh ambush him. So here's where before I would always think Riggs is running down the street barefoot. That's what I always thought. And then when he jumps after he shoots at Gary Busey and the car catches on fire, he jumps down onto the lower ramp to run down, and he's got shoes on. So like earlier, I'm like, honey, look, he's barefoot. He's running. He's a good runner. And all of a sudden I'm like, wait, he's got shoes on now. And then she's like, yeah, he's got shoes on there too. And I'm like, wasn't he barefoot? She goes, I think so. And I go, I don't know. But I'm thinking he has shoes in his hand. Like when he saves them and he's like, let's do what the flock of, what the sheep herder said to the, other sheep herders, get the flock out of here. Yeah. And so then I think he might've grabbed shoes, but I thought he was barefoot that whole time. But because I thought when they fought in the yard that he was barefoot, but no, he's got shoes on. But anyway, I'm sure he had shoes on the whole time, but I just always thought he was running down the street barefoot. So
it would make sense that he'd have to have shoes on during the fight in the yard because of all the water. He would have been slipping and falling on his ass so much.
Well, exactly. And just, it just hurt your feet too. But,
and depending on when they did the filming, what they filmed first, if they would have filmed that scene and then went, oh shit, we got to put shoes on you. For you running.
But also, so then Murtaugh's like, he knows where I live. He's going to go after my family. And so then you're like, oh shit, like they're late because he went ahead and now you guys are going to go. But then when Mr. Joshua was walking in there, and first of all, my wife's like, why did the cops have that car in drive? You know, when he kills them and the car goes forward. I go, for one, I said, because earlier on the scene when they cops first got there, like while they're talking by the Christmas tree, there's a police car going around the block, like checking, making sure. So I'm like, he's driving around. That's my way of being like, that's what they were doing. And they just happen to stop for a second to be like, whatever. The other one was then when he comes in and he starts, it's Christmas, and he shoots up the TV and then the car comes through. My wife's like, holy shit. Like he's just blowing apart the thing. So it was cool because she was seeing it for the first time. So she was just like, oh my God, this is exciting. And then when it was over, I was like, well, honey, I'm going to be on the podcast. So you want me to go ahead and put a DVD on for you I can get the Blu-ray of Lethal Weapon? She's like, no, I just watched it. I'm like, yeah, but I thought maybe you didn't see it fully because you woke up at the end. But she had seen 3/4 of it before that, last 2 weeks ago. Anyway, so now Riggs and Joshua, this is a part where sometimes I'm like, cool. And sometimes I'm like, come on, really? You're going to have that mano fight? But it is cool. It's still a good fight. And it's that thing of, you want, and it's a thing where they don't have to explain, but maybe in special forces, they had like almost a Golden Gloves type thing where they all fought and who's the best. Martin Riggs is the best. Okay. And then the war ended. And now he's like, you want a shot at the title? And he's like, yeah, I do. And he's like, okay. And like I said, he almost, defeats him a little, he gets some good shit in. And Martin Riggs is like tired and like almost, and there's other little added things from before when they go to get in the car to go to the house, and Mel Gibson is like out of breath and he puts his hand on Roger's shoulder and Roger's like, ow, ow, like that's my sore shoulder. Like he remembers as an actor, like that's my sore shoulder. Don't touch me there. I had salt rubbed in that wound. So then Riggs defeats Joshua in a brawl, but decides not to kill him. Police officer.
That was the cool little difference though there, because at that point it's always Murtaugh saying, can you try not to kill somebody today? But he's telling him to break his fucking neck, and then he's looking at him going, no, he's not worth it.
He's like,
and that was the shift where you're like,
yeah, exactly. And police officers take Joshua into custody, but he breaks free, a la Die Hard. But he rest in peace, Alfred. What's his name? Alexander Goodenough, died of alcohol poisoning. So maybe not rest in peace. Don't drink. Do what?
I said Asian Dawn.
Yeah. Did he say, or what was that? What the fuck? They hit the artillery on us. What was it? He said something really stupid, and it's like, no, you idiot. Anyway, it's him. Yeah, he was the one. They hit the artillery on us. No, it's him. Poison pill runner. Anyway. Anyway, don't get me started on Dave. Police officer take Joshua into custody. Free takes an officer's gun and attempts to shoot Riggs and Murtaugh. The pair return fire, killing Joshua. A short time later, after visiting his wife's grave, Riggs shares a Christmas Day meal. So my wife's like, I go, so there's his wife that you remember from the first one. Where's my pin? I remember I'm crying. I'm on the floor. I look under the couch and there's a blue pen I've been looking for all over. And then Murtaugh's like, hey, Trish found a blue pen. Didn't you find a gold pen? Didn't you find a gold pen? And they just laugh because they're like, we were having a moment and you fucked it up because you're an idiot. No. So I was like, this is the wife. And she's like, what'd she die of? And I go, a drunk driver. And she's like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah. Oh yeah, wait. Okay, now Chip's gonna correct me. Part 2, she got murdered because he was onto something. That's right. He was on to the Africans. Yes. Okay. Again, Chip, I'm sorry. I bow to you. Die Hard 1 and 2, Die Hard 1 and Lethal Weapon 2. Forgive me. I was thinking as I'm telling her that, I'm like, drunk driver, and I'm like, I got to talk to Chip. I'm like, I don't, something's rubbing me wrong. I don't think it's a drunk driver. And then as I'm getting ready to tell you, I go and tell everybody in the listening audience, and they're going, no, you fucking idiot. Have you not watched Lethal Weapon 2? Go watch it right now. Okay. A short time later, after visiting his wife's grave, Riggs shares a Christmas Day meal with Murtaugh and his family. Riggs gives Murtaugh a hollow point bullet. This is a point I'll get to in a second that upsets Joe. He had been saving to commit suicide as he no longer needs it. The end. So Joe and I would always watch this movie. I'd always recite it. We'd be swimming. I'd come out of the pool, put my arms on the side, and I'd be like, well, I haven't killed you yet. And I'd do shit like that. And Joe'd laugh because I'm like, I just want to make Joe laugh. So I'll just do lines from the thing. And I'd be like, gun, and I'd fall in the pool. So when Joe and I got more into guns, Joe's like, he holds that bullet up and says it's a hollow point, so it'll blow the back of my goddamn skull out. And Joe goes, that's not a hollow point. That's just a regular Full Metal Jacket, like a regular bullet. Like the hollow points, I don't know if you know, they're like flat and they have a little hole in the thing.
Yeah.
And so he's like, no, those are hollow points. Like he's like, and here's this bullet. And it's like, it's just a bullet. Like, where's the hollow point? So it's like, I don't know. So Joe was like, why didn't they just get a hollow point? Like, just that's all you needed was one real hollow point. But it's like, okay. But anyway, now are you ready for a little bit of stuff?
Second.
Oh, go ahead. Uh-oh, Chip's going to tell me about dinner. And then his dog comes along and attacks a cat. And yeah.
No. There was another scene that made me think of another movie because of the whole thing with Dirty Harry and the jumper.
Right.
The scene, which is funny because of who it is, but when the captain is going into the bathroom and he stops her and points.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's the same thing as Superman when Lois Lane is like, Clark.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, huh.
Yeah, very true. Well, and also that's another thing of, like we said, that exposition where, and she shows up in the other movies of like, you're crazy. I don't know if she's in the fourth one as much. On the second one, she's talking about him breaking his shoulder, that he keeps doing that and he loves pain and what's wrong. And he does the cross-eyed thing and hits his head. But on that, it's where she's like, no, he's crazy. And then he's like, no, I think he's just faking it. And so I'm still going to put him with Murtaugh. And so it's cool because she's explaining everything. And then even Danny Glover explaining, like, and then him going, either I want a pension or I don't. And either way, I'm fucked. Like that whole thing, it just works. It's written well. And just all that. The whole thing is just great.
Nothing feels forced throughout the whole.
Yeah, exactly. Except for honey, remember you told me today about somebody that called. Who was that? Michael Hunsacker?
Yeah, but even with that,
but also
when he's talking to her, he's very much, because of who it is, he's able to say, yeah, she took a dive out a window.
Yeah.
Pretty,
yeah. Well, I was even wondering, was that his wife he called, or was he talking to the dispatcher?
I thought it was the dispatcher.
Honey.
That's why I was confused.
So maybe you might be right, because I was thinking it could be both, because he said like the number you gave me, but maybe he's like, give me anyway. Released on March 6, 1987, Lethal Weapon was #1 at the box office for 3 weeks before Blind Date supplanted it. My favorite movie. It grossed $120.2 million worldwide and was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Sound Mixing, losing to The Last Emperor. It is widely considered to be one of the best buddy cop films of all time, influencing numerous buddy cop films such as Hot Fuzz, Tango and Cash, Bad Boys, and the Rush Hour series. Black reportedly wrote a treatment for a fifth film.
I'm scared.
Do what? Well, yeah. Yes, I agree. But Running Scared was 86. So yeah, maybe Running Scared started. You're right. Yeah, fuck you, Lethal Weapon. Running Scared started this shit.
Scared.
Yeah. There's a part in Running Scared when they go to serve papers because like they're cops who just harass people. They go to serve papers to Billy Crystal, but it's actually that Billy Crystal's aunt has died and he won some money. He got some money from it. They go to give it to, but Billy Crystal's like, no, can you play like you're me? So Gregory Hand's like, fine. So Billy Crystal tells the guy who's giving him the paper, like, no, he went in the restroom over there. So he goes in the restroom and he goes, are you so-and-so? Now, Gregory Hines is a black man. And he's like, yeah, that's me. And the guy goes, you don't look Italian. Gregory Hines goes, what do you want me to sweat garlic, lose a war? Like, it's like, holy shit. It's just hilarious. Anyway, I love that movie. We should do that. We got to put that one. We got to put that one, Lady Hawk. Yeah. And speaking of pants, Last Boy Scout, they're $250 pants. Don't have like a TV in them or something. Nope. They're just pants. Satan Claus, he's out there, Jimmy. Black reportedly wrote a treatment for a 5th film, but Donner didn't see it. The director told Empire what his version would be like. The two crazies decide to cool their lives, but it's impossible for them to stay out of situations. It starts with Riggs and Murtaugh out in the country in a motorhome. They're on a trip and they stop to get gas, but Roger forgets to put the brake on. So the motorhome rolls through a village, annihilating everything, and they get in serious trouble. It had a lot of heart, a lot of family. Rene Russo, Darlene Love, they would all have come back. So I don't get it. I don't get where this would be if it's like then they're in trouble with the city and then they gotta like do something. Like I don't get it. But I know that his treatment that he talks about, that when we were doing our Shane Black stuff, I was looking up stuff and he said, I have a treatment that people ask me, can I see that treatment for Lethal Weapon 5? And I show it to them. It's like 60 pages and they read it and they're like, wow, that's cool. So that'd be cool just to be like, can I read? Like, oh, awesome. You have it. Cool. You know, but, okay. Reviews, Rotten Tomatoes, critical consensus reads, quote, the most successful installment in a phenomenally successful franchise, Lethal Weapon helped redefine action movies for the 1980s and 90s, unquote. So I give this movie 5 celluloid hearts. I don't know about you, 1 or 2. What do you give it?
Yeah, hell got to be 5. Hell got to be 5. If I could give it 6, I would.
Yeah, of course.
But you say that they're 5, but they're like illuminated. They're like throbbing.
Yeah, they're like Christmas lights. They're
Yes.
like hearty Christmas lights. Yeah. So you want to wrap anything with Lethal Weapon? You got anything to really pontificate about?
No, I mean, I just thought about
before I
after
get
watching
on
this
to-
movie, I was sad that Donner's passing and that there's with him passing and everything that there's not going to be any more. But at the same time, I thought with trilogies and prequels and sequels and things that have just been sucking,
Yeah.
that none of these did. I'm so
Yeah.
happy that all of them worked.
Yeah.
And
They were good. They weren't as good as the first one, but they stayed at a, you know, a lot of people don't like 4, but I like, you and I like their characters are still the same. They're great, you know, all that stuff. In script writing school, when I was taking script writing in college, the teacher was like, we're going to watch a sequel that is really good, explains everything. Here's how to write a script. And he put on Lethal Weapon 2. And it starts right away with them in the car banging on the roof and they're in a chase and you're like, what the fuck? And you get to meet them arguing back and forth. The guy crashes the car, like, you know, oh, maybe there wasn't enough room. Like, yeah, go on the side. Oh, you're right. There wasn't enough room. Then they find the cougar ants and then they go on to figure out what's going on. And that they killed Murtaugh's Riggs's wife. See, I'm on it. But yes, it's yeah, they're still good. They're just like, you like the John Wick movies. John Wick 1, not the same, but John Wick 1's good. 2's, you know, 3, like, you know, 4, I think they're going to try to do something different. But
that was the thing with the John Wick movies, though, is that the first one at least really took you visually, like made you go, holy shit, you're watching this. It got old as the movies went on. It was more of the same, and it was just like whatever. There was no chemistry like the way the chemistry is.
Right. Yeah.
Characters in this to make it fuel the rest of the story to keep it going. All you're seeing is him just kill people and kick ass. That's about it.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Yes, it's all the stuff like we said. Same thing with that first movie with us saying that we like when he's like gun and he looks at him when he's trying to hold the gun, is that part in part 2 when they go to get Leo Getz and the guy comes with the food and they fall out the window. Like, it's just so cool. It's like, oh shit, you know. But anyway, Phil's film favorite of the week. We don't want to go too much on this, Chip, but I've seen a lot of movies, but I saw Spider-Man No Way Home last night. And it was amazing. It's from 2021, in case nobody knows. It's got Tom Holland in it and maybe some other people. And it was really good. I saw it. So here's what was cool was when I was looking at it whenever I was looking, I'm like, how many, seats are open? All the seats were full for every single showing. And there's more showings. Like usually during COVID, I know you haven't been to the movies as much as maybe me, but during COVID, you would look and like some of the movies that would open one week would be in the big theater, and then all of a sudden they'd be in a small theater, and the new movie would be in the big Dolby theater or whatever. And then they'd be like in like House of Gucci is in a real small theater and no seats, like maybe 2 people, maybe 3. But Spider-Man was like all full. And I'm like, oh shit. Like I don't know if I want to go to a full theater. So last night I'm like, well, I'm going to buy these seats in D where everybody else is behind D, be just me. And I show up there and people start showing up and this guy and a girl come over. The guy sits right next to me. And then a guy and a girl on the other side come and they sit right next to me. And I'm thinking, don't you have some, like, you don't have to sit in the seats that you bought. You can move over, but also I'm like, I am in the center. So I get it. But also it's that thing of where you're like, I like the theater experience, but do I? Like, wait a minute. Like, you guys do it. Can I have my drink here? Don't cough or spit or touch your hand on my straw. So, but it was, go ahead.
That's the cool thing is my wife thought ahead and she bought 4 seats and we sat in the 2 middle ones.
Oh, wow. Oh, goodness. Oh, so even there, they don't have like spacing anymore. Yeah. That's a lot of money paying for Spider-Man. She must love you.
I needed, yeah. She knew I needed to
see this. She knew that you're fat. You need a bunch of seats. So it was cool. It had, I love Spider-Man. I think he's probably my favorite of all the superheroes. Even though as a kid when we would play superheroes, which somebody I was training, I was like, yeah, I always used to pick Superman. And he's like, well, that's kind of a cheat. And I'm like, yeah, I'd either be Superman or the Hulk. Like, you can't defeat me, like, unless you have kryptonite. And he's like, I like Batman because Batman is a normal person. I'm like, I hear you. But the thing with Spider-Man is the same thing as Stanley always said, like just a kid who's trying to get along and do shit. So this is cool where they mix with the multiverse and it's all, and as you saw in the trailer, there's Doc Ock and that Goblin and the Sandman, and the Electro. And so it's like just cool because there's surprises in there, there's good performances, and it just ends great where you're just like, cool, So it's like, how far are they going to take Spider-Man? Is like, when's Tom Holland going to be like, okay, I'm done,
Me personally, at this point, I agree with the consensus that this is the best MCU movie yet.
Of all?
Yes.
Even, I mean, granted it's dated, but even Iron Man was good as almost like a solid, just one movie, boom, like.
No, this for everything that they put into it, where it wasn't.
Like you said, epic. Somebody said epic, right?
When they do it, and they try and squeeze too much in and stuff, and just the way that this was done.
Yeah.
I was thoroughly amazed when I left going, this just worked.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing where Marvel, Kevin Feige especially knows how to do everything. The guy I was training, he was like, what do you think of Spider-Man? He goes, I don't know. I'm kind of, superheroed out. And I said, I get it. I said, I like that Kevin Feige is hooking everything together, but I kind of don't like it because now I have to watch every single thing because it might be a through line of stories, but that's really good. Hawkeye's really good. Like, and it's that fun thing, like we said about Mandalorian. It's like a Sunday night Disney movie that you're watching on Sunday night with the family. Like, it's just wholesome. And this is just totally just great. So, but anyway, if that's all, come back on December 29th for Chip's going, wait a minute, what movie are we doing? Nothing. Our season and year-end finale. Chip and I will talk about what movie we've seen this year that we really like, which now you know is Chip's Spider-Man No Way Home. What we've seen on the show that really like maybe amazed us, or the other end where we're like stir crazy, really, or you know, one of those. Yeah, so we'll talk about that. And then we'll do year end, and then we got special stuff planned for season 4, and I got a new theme, and I'm working on some other little things that try to figure out. So that'll be cool. But okay, Chip, certain movies stick with you. They stay in your head and heart forever. So from all of us at My Cellular Heart, keep watching movies. Do you want to promote anything before I just read all that? Okay.
Good. I do want to say,
Oh,
the one shepherd.
I love you too. Thank you.
Other shepherd.
Yeah, let's get the flock out of here.
All right.
All right. Peace.
Peace.